Hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Thanks for joining. So I'm live now. Hello. Okay. Hello. How is everybody doing? That. Thanks for joining. So I can hear myself. Okay, I'm going to mute myself over there. And yeah, great. So. Okay, so want to say hi to Sharif, Jared. I think Sarah is here. Svetlana, Tony, Simone. Who else is here? Hope you're all doing great. Boomerangua. What's your name? Okay, so great. Got a couple people learning English, a couple polyglots here as well. Okay, so as I had also mentioned over on Facebook, let me see if there's any comments over there I haven't seen, but I'm going to be mostly looking at the chat box here on YouTube. Okay, Alexei. Okay, great. So I'm going to be, what we're going to be doing here, I'm going to be listening to a few of your recordings and just giving you a little bit of feedback. So, for example, here is, there was a recording from, here, let me see if I can go there. From one of our new participants. I'm going to go here. Loading. Okay. See if we can hear this. That's loading. I think next time I'm going to have to download these, and this is waiting for this to load. So I'm experimenting a little bit each time on these coaching calls to see what is working, what's helping. Let's go here.
Good morning, everyone. Morning when I wake up, I'm making bed. I'm going to the bathroom, brush my teeth, take a shower, brush my hair.
So this is an example. So let's see if I can, I had done this before. Let's see if I can do this again. This will just take me a second. I'm trying to stay on the camera and also share my screen here. So I'm going to create a new document. I'm going to split that off. It's a lot of tech stuff. I'm sorry. Trying to get all this stuff ready. And okay. I'm gonna have to get like a whole little studio going eventually for this stuff. Okay. For what I want to be able to do, be on camera, have my screen there, play some audio files. I need like a little recording studio and okay. So let me just get rid of some of this stuff. And okay. Okay, so that's working there. I just need to make that small. I actually had to do this yesterday on a Instagram, not Instagram, on a WhatsApp lesson. The person didn't have Skype, so what I ended up doing was using a webcam program that could access my webcam and at the same time allow me to I'll close that and then I'll get this document here. So thank you for your patience here. I'm just getting that set up. Okay, yeah, I need like a little recording studio here with this material. And then I'll be able to see your comments over here. There. Okay. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. It's going to be a little messy, I'm sorry. We'll get this in order. And there. Let's see my kids for a second. Okay, so there I'm on camera. There's your comments, and we should be able to see what I want to write here. Okay, so down here, I'm not sure if I can see. So here on Ava had said something about I'm making my bed. I will, yeah, I think maybe I'll put this like this and put this over here. That's my family. You can see them. And get that. Okay, so Ava had said she was making her bed. And for this particular case, this should be, if it's, in this case for like present simple, if this is part of a routine, this should be I make my bed, okay? Things that we repeat, that we do frequently, that we do like every day, these would be parts of our, this present simple. Every day I make my bed, I go to the kitchen and make coffee. So those are a few things that we would be doing on a regular basis. Each day I do that. And let me just move this over a little bit here. I don't need to be, you can see me. Okay, so yeah, okay. So far, so good. I know it's kind of messy. You can see me over here a little bit. You can see a little bit of the YouTube chat comments there. So yeah, I definitely need a studio here. Let me go back and play part of that again.
Morning, when I wake up, I'm making bed.
Okay, I'm making bed. So this is another little thing, is that with some Slavic languages, we have, we're missing the articles. So I believe Ava speaks Czech and Slovak. So so I'm making bed. We need either some kind of a article or determiner. So this should be I'm making, or I make the bed, or I make my bed. We usually specify whose bed we're making there. Okay. So in some languages, I noticed this a little bit. There is some confusion between this kind of present continuous and present simple. So this one of I'm right now, if you can see me, I'm drinking coffee. I'm drinking coffee. So that's right now. Or as you can see me here on camera, I'm typing on the screen. I'm doing a live lesson, coaching call, etc. So those are things that are happening right now. These are like in progress at the moment. At the moment of speaking. So those are things for present continuous. That they're short-term actions versus things that get repeated, like I make my bed, or I go to the kitchen, I make coffee, then right now I'm drinking coffee. Okay, let me just make sure that this is all visible. Yeah, you can see all of this stuff. Okay. Okay, yeah, articles are tricky. Yeah, I'm just trying to see where in the comments we are. Yeah, articles can be a little tricky. There's quite often when I'm reviewing on like TOEFL essays, articles, those end up being some of the little details that kind of add up. One of my favorite recommendations for usually for students who are working at like the kind of the essays and the university essays is over on the Purdue OWL. This is the online writing lab. They've got a lot of great grammatical explanations. Let's see if I can quickly show this to you over here, and I'll be right back. So the Purdue OWL. And if I look over here, I would do a search. Where's the search tool? I think it's up in this corner, if I'm not mistaken. Where's the, I'm not sure if I have to search the writing lab, and well, I don't want to physically go there, but there is a search. Yeah, here, search. So if I'm going to put like articles, then they will get me some of these a and the, yeah, how to use articles. So there is that. So I'm going to take this link. I'll put this over here as well, but I'm going to also put that over on YouTube. So it's a really good tool for helping you with, you have to use some of the search tool that is on there, but that's just part of this Purdue online writing lab. In most universities, they have something like this where university students need to get help on, especially like people learning English as a foreign language, or even native speakers, they need to get some help on the quality of their writing. So this is kind of stuff that I did when I was a university student. I would have helped other students like proofread their essays, proofread their content. And this is now what I'm still doing for students who are working on like the TOEFL, or right now I have a student who is working on his statement of purpose. This is a document that goes to a university with part of a student's application so they can hopefully get accepted. So I do some help with reviewing that, making it sound more natural. So that website, that's a really good one for just explaining with lots of examples and some easy to understand sentences and examples. So check out that website for things a little bit on the grammar part. Let's go to another person's recording here. Let's listen. Here is from Gosia, or I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I can see somebody's already writing some comments, but so that's great to see this. It's all interactive here.
Hello everybody. Today, day 4 of our speaking challenge. We are talking about things that we do every day without having to think about it, without a special motivation.
Okay, so I believe Gosha may have a bit of a French pronunciation. A few things that I would notice in that case are let me move down here. Okay, so a few things on French pronunciation that I usually notice, because I lived in France and I've been speaking French for like 22 years. So, and I taught English for lots of companies when I was in Paris. So a few things I noticed is like the TH sound, which you usually have in thank or think or thought or with. Usually this gets replaced with S. So there are sometimes I might hear like sank or sink or sought or whis. If it is the TH that has the vibration in the vocal cord, sometimes that THE that you have in like the or this or that or these or those or mother, quite often this gets replaced with like a Z sound. So like the sometimes ends up sounding like z or this, that, or z's, a little bit. Now, to help integrate that TH sound into English, I would say the tongue, the tongue needs to be touching the teeth, almost like if you're opening a bottle that has like it's carbonated and it wants to come out like you don't want, because if the tongue is not touching the teeth, you're going to get S or you're going to get Z. You're going to z, z. But once it touches and it blocks the airflow, then you get the TH sound. You get the you can feel there's pressure in my mouth. The air wants to come out. That's when there's vocal cord vibration. I mean, it's still touching. Sorry, the vocal cords, and that will help with these think and the. Now, one thing I noticed here is that she did say things that we do every day. So that is a correct usage of this present simple. So we, in present continuous here, like we, today, for a short term, today we are talking about, so that's the short term and now. And the topic is today we are talking about things we do every day. So this is the repeated routine. So you can have a mix of those two tenses there. But for here, to help Gosha, I think I would notice a little bit of the accent, the pronunciation, and also on the intonation. I think in general, the last syllable ends up getting kind of emphasized a little bit. Let me see if we can hear a little bit more.
For me, I think the first thing that I do every day, just after I wake up, it's making a coffee.
Okay.
It's quite automatic.
So yeah, a lot of people have coffee. It's very necessary. Okay, so and some of those refuse and hate to produce those sounds. Yeah. So here, some of the words are kind of separated. I would recommend working a little bit on some of the connected speech. And for people who speak French, this idea of connected speech, it's very similar to the idea of liaison in French, where we have things like les oiseaux, or aller, yeah, I don't know, or like aller chez elle. Like you would be linking here, or you would be linking here. So this idea of a liaison, I'm not sure if I'm misspelling that, liaison. This is very common, that we also do this in English, where we're linking these words. We're trying not to separate them with too many pauses. Okay, and yeah, the first thing I do is I make coffee. If that's repeated, like the first thing, the first thing, the first thing I do is make coffee. So this is the TH that's vibrating with a z, and thing. The first thing I do is make coffee. Okay. Literally every, yeah, like the yeah, looking at some of these comments from you guys. And the TH, yeah, it's very rare. It's, yeah. So thank you for mentioning a couple of those languages that have that TH. So yeah, Greek, English, Paluan, Icelandic, Fijian. Yeah, it's not in a lot of languages, but so yeah, and a lot of times what people end up doing to replace it is either like for quite often like French speakers, like S and Z. Sometimes in the Caribbean, you might hear like a T or a D replacement. So I think it's I think it's the best. I don't know. I think it's the best. I think it's the best, man. So there could be a little bit of a T sound. There could be a little bit of a D sound to replace this. When I was a child, I didn't actually pronounce the TH sound until I was like age 7. I remember my grandmother sitting down with me one summer, because I was spending a week or two with her, and she was like, "You're not pronouncing that correctly." So she wrote down all these words like teeth, tooth, think, thank, and she would just like write down all these words that had it. And apparently up until that time, I was using F and V. So I was saying like I think, and I would use like it's the best. So I would be using so with F and V in phonetics, this is labiodental. This is where the lip, the bottom lip, and the top teeth are touching. That's not the TH sound. The TH is like the tongue with the teeth, not the lips and the teeth. For lots of students in other languages, I hear them using this one, the F and the V, or like we, work. So some of my Russian speaking students, they will be using we work, because in those languages, like also like in German, the W ends up being like a V sound instead of w, which is kind of rounded lips. So W, B, and P, these would be like kind of bilabial. This means two lips kind of rounded. W, B, P. And F and V, these would be the bottom lip. This would be bottom lip touching the top teeth. That contact of bottom lip, top teeth creates that F and V sound. The V would be the one that's vibrating. But as a child, I was using that to replace TH. I just, no adults were correcting me, or a lot of adults say, hey, it sounds cute. We're not going to bother correcting him. But now I teach English, I have to teach pronunciation, and I recognize all of these possible changes. So if you're listening to English from other people who are learning English, be aware of some of these possible changes. So you could be hearing S and Z, you could be F and V, you could be T and D. Sometimes, not just in the Caribbean accent, sometimes if you hear like a movie like in New York, you might hear like, I think, not I think, but I think it's duh. I think it's the best, duh. So you might hear a duh. It's a little of a different D than you might hear in the Caribbean. Trying to figure out that difference for the D, but maybe in a Caribbean accent, like I think it's the best. I think it's the best. And maybe in New York, the best. What are your thoughts on this, Jared? Because I think you're in New York. Do you hear this these sounds as well? And let's go into some comments here. So Sarah saying, I have problems with the TH and S when they're next to each other. Yeah, that's a common thing. If you're doing anything with fractions, so like fourths, fifths, sixths, that's a terrible one. I hate that one. Or even twelfths, that's a really bad one. So with fifths, this is F, TH, and S. Sixths, that's crazy as well. That's K, that's S, that's TH, that's S, and 12ths, that's even more consonant sounds. That's L plus F plus TH plus S. So yes, I don't blame you if those are kind of crazy. Fourths, this is getting R plus TH plus S. In some of those cases, if I'm talking very quickly, I might change those to like a T sound. However, that might sound like forts, or fifths. I might not even bother with the TH. Fifths, 2/5. So it might just F and S, F, S. And sixths, you might just hear a really long S sound. You might hear this 6, 6, 12ths. You might drop the TH. You might get L, F, S, 12ths. We probably don't understand that. But you quite often in other language or common language, I mean, here clothes. This one is like the TH that's vibrating with the E plus a Z, clothes. And this would be a little different from close, like close the door. There would be Z, close the door, versus clothes. Yeah. And let me zoom up, scroll up here a little bit. Yeah. So when those, back over here. So I recently was thinking about the song, the Earth Song. There I might split it because it is 2 words, Earth Song. I have to make break. About sixth, yeah. And get back over here. Yeah, F, TH, what else? Yeah, it's not easy to, natural, oh, wait, what was that? Oh, what? This keeps, I have to do it this way, I guess. Going back through here. Do you prefer, oh, it keeps refreshing the second there's a new comment. The SH, or the S in song, Latino. Oh yeah, the T. Yeah. But clothes, months. Yeah, months. That's a little different. That's the TH, months. That would be this TH that's not vibrating, and plus this S sound. Yeah, months. And as well, which sounds, and the TH is like a T. And then Caribbean, Irish, South Asian. Okay. Okay, just, yeah, American actors. Okay. Yeah, and some of those pronunciations that can be a bit challenging for listening. And Jared is making a comment. Yeah, speakers from India, sometimes their pronunciation in English can be a bit challenging. I had some experience at university with a math teacher, and I remember taking notes, and I remember looking at the person next to me, the other person sitting next to me, the person behind me, the person in front of me. I would try to look around, see if we were all taking the same notes. Everybody had different notes. So that is maybe an indication that from one person speaking, you can get at least 5 or 6 interpretations of what was being said. I remember my brother at the university, he had a teacher who would ask students to come up to do an exercise on the board, but sometimes he would ask, how can we do this? And sometimes our last name, he would call on a student and say like, hey, Smith, please do this. Or Smith, can you do this? And then in our case, he'd say, okay, Huggins, can you do this? And sometimes my brother wouldn't know if it was a open invitation to the whole class. How can we do this? Or Huggins, please do this, or please do this. So sometimes my brother would jump up thinking that the teacher had called on him, and sometimes the teacher hadn't called on him, but he would kind of, or he would call on him, but he didn't react because he thought it was everybody. So my brother never knew if he was calling on him or he was not calling on him. So he ended up just volunteering all the time to do the math problems on the board. And I think my father at the university, he remembered that there was like a second class or third class, students were taking out papers to do an exam, and he said, what exam? What's going on? And he said, at the end of last class, the teacher had said that we're going to have an exam. He said, I didn't even understand that. So he got a little frustrated. I think he ended up dropping out or changing the class. So it is possible for the brilliant teachers who are teaching, but sometimes the pronunciation can be challenging to know what is being said. And yes, it is a very big population of speakers. And but I do work with some students for the TOEFL who speak Tamil, Hindi, just a lot of the local languages that are there in India. But okay, let's get briefly to another audio file. And see who's here. So let's see if we can get one of Olga. I think I see her here in the comments. Let's see. Not quite yet. Let me see if there's something from day 3. I don't yet see a recording for Olga. Oh, okay. Not yet. Who else is here? I think Alexei was in the comments. Let me see if I can get one of Alexei's recordings here. Okay.
Hi, my name is Alexei, and for today's topics about breakfast. In the art, it was interesting to read the articles, and my country is present on the articles. I'm from Ukraine.
Okay. In the article.
It's partly truth what we eat on the breakfast.
Partly.
I think not every day
true.
and everyone eat
Everyone
these foods which described in the articles.
Were described.
For example, I eat for breakfast bread, butter, and cheese.
For breakfast.
That's all, and a cup of coffee.
Okay, let's pause there. So one of these things, when we're talking about, I read something. So this was in the article, in the book, in the magazine, in the video. But sometimes we may use on, like on the website, on the channel, on TV, on the radio, on the internet, in the newspaper, so the idea, I guess, is that with these like website, channel, TV, it's well, that's a tricky one to try to explain the difference between those two. But I guess the article, it might be something that has volume, and on internet, radio, it's kind of like a wavelength. I have to look into that a little bit more of like, why do we use in and on for those ones? But so this information in the article is partly true. So we're using this adjective, and partly this is an adverb. Like, how true is this? It's partly true. Like it's completely true. It's completely false. It's partly true. The truth, that would be a concept. That would be a concept. When we're using the word everyone, okay, my next student is here. I will need to wrap up here in a second. Okay, so not everyone eats these foods. When we're using everyone, or everybody, this is a singular. So we use eats. I know in some languages when you have people, so people eat. So this is plural, but everyone, everybody, it's considered singular, eats. And the food, these foods that were described. So this little relative clause there, not everyone eats these foods that were described. When we're having this phrase, I eat this for breakfast. So I eat pancakes for breakfast. I eat bread with butter for breakfast. So we put the for breakfast afterwards. We specify the what we eat and then what that's for. I eat this for breakfast. That would be the word order there. Okay. So this was kind of a quick coaching call, about 40 minutes or so. But the idea was to kind of go in, listen to a few recordings here, comment a little bit on what's going on with the English there, and some of the things I could share. And these could each become little lessons of material. So I will share these notes that I was, right now it says private, but I will put that as a comment on the video that goes with this. And so hopefully this was helpful. You might like see me a little bit, see a little bit on a Google Doc. I can see your comments. We can listen to some of the recordings here. And I think next time I'll probably like download a couple of these audio files in advance. But great job everybody on getting started, making recordings, sharing them. It's also really great to see lots of feedback on these documents. Keep up that great work. The feedback, the comments, the enthusiasm really helps each other stay motivated to kind of keep going. Just be supportive, be helpful with each other. Think of what's going to help someone. Okay, so gotta go. My student is here. Thank you everyone for today, for joining, and we will be back next week. Okay, take care. Have a great week.